Is Barcelona really worth visiting? In this video, I'll share everything you need to know before you go, from where to stay and what to eat to what's actually worth your time in this city. Our first impressions. When we first arrived in Barcelona, we started walking right away. And the first thing we noticed was the energy. The city feels very vibrant, full of life. There are locals, tourists, cafes, bakeries everywhere. But what really stood out to me was the architecture. Barcelona feels like a city where architecture is a form of public art. Every street has something to look at. Balconies, curved shapes, iron details, flowers. You don't look down, you look up. And every building feels like it could be the most interesting, beautiful one you've seen. You can really feel Gaudí's influence across the city. His work is not just architecture, it feels like imagination turned into real life. At the same time, the city is very easy to navigate, especially in areas like Eixample with its grid layout. But when you enter the Gothic Quarter, everything changes. The streets get narrow, more like a maze, more historic, more atmospheric. And then the food. Everywhere you walk, something catches your eye. A bakery, a tapas bar, a glass of sangria. The city really invites you to stop, sit, and enjoy. Where to stay? If you're deciding where to stay in Barcelona, your experience really depends on the neighborhood. Each area has a very different feel. The Gothic Quarter is the most central and historic area. It's beautiful, but the streets are very narrow. Taxis can't always enter easily, and many buildings don't have elevators, so it can be difficult if you're traveling with heavy luggages. This area also connects to La Rambla, which is full of hotels and very central, but it's also very busy and quite touristic, so it's better to visit rather than to stay, in my opinion. We stayed in Eixample and I would definitely recommend it. It's stylish, safe, and very easy to walk around. The streets are wide, well lit, and comfortable even at night. This area is also home to some of Gaudí's most famous buildings like Casa Batlló and Casa Mila, and it's one of the main shopping areas in the city. You'll find everything from luxury brands to more affordable stores, plus great restaurants and cafes. If you're looking for a more local and relaxed life, Gràcia is a great option. It feels more residential with pedestrian-friendly streets, small squares, and a strong sense of community. It's a bit further from the main tourist areas, but perfect if you want a quieter experience. Alborn has a mix of history and modern energy. There are museums, small boutiques, and many places to eat and drink. It's also very close to the beach and Parc de la Ciutadella. If you want to be close to the beaches and sea, Barceloneta may be the best spot. If I came back to Barcelona, I would still choose Eixample. It has the best balance between comfort, location, and overall experience. Getting around the city. Getting around Barcelona is actually very easy. The city is very walkable, and we end up walking most of the time. When we were tired or going longer distances like Park Güell, we took a taxi or Uber. It was quick and convenient, and rides within the city usually cost around 8 to 12 euros. There's also a very good public transport system with metro, trains, and buses connecting all the main areas. We didn't use public transport at all. But if you're planning to use the metro often or visit multiple museums, cards like Bola Barcelona or Barcelona card can be worth it. For places like Sagrada Família, Park Güell, or Montjuic, you might need some form of transport. If you're not planning to use transport that much or visit many museums, pay as you go might be a better option. It's best to calculate based on your plan and decide. You can also rent bikes and scooters like Güell, which is a fun way to wander the city, especially around the beach. But overall, getting around the city is easy and flexible. What to see? If you're visiting Barcelona, I would really recommend planning your main attractions in advance, especially if you're traveling in a busy season. Even when we visited in March, which is not the peak season, there were still lines at Gaudí attractions. We didn't plan everything ahead because this was more of a relaxed birthday trip. We wanted to walk, explore, dine, and decide as we went. Luckily, we were still able to find tickets, but in high season, this might not be possible. For me, the main focus of the trip was Gaudí. I'm very interested in design and creativity, so his work was something I really wanted to experience. Sagrada Família is one of those landmarks you have to see. It's like going to Paris and not seeing the Eiffel Tower. We didn't go inside because we didn't have enough time, but even from the outside, it's very impressive and it's huge. Casa Batlló was one of my favorite experiences. We spent around 1.5 hours inside and took so many photos. I really recommend buying your ticket online because it's faster and cheaper than buying it at the door. And the prices are dynamic. They change depending on demand. There are also many ticket options. We bought the silver ticket, which included the main visit and the rooftop. When we visited, Refik Anadol's stunning AI exhibition Gaudí Dreams was also on view, and it was a very nice addition to the experience. Casa Mila was also amazing. I loved Casa Batlló for its creativity, but Casa Mila's rooftop was my favorite. You should definitely go up to the rooftop if you visit. That was something I was so much eager to see and did not disappoint at all. And here are some photo ideas, like at rooftop with Sagrada Família backdrop. I also liked Casa Mila's museum store. It had a great selection of books, ceramics, and souvenirs. Park Güell is another must-see, but make sure to buy your ticket in advance because it's only available online. I would also recommend visiting on a day with good weather and spare 1 to 2 hours to stay outside. There are also other Gaudí buildings like Palau Güell or Casa Vicens, but we didn't have time to visit them all, so it really depends on your priorities. If you're focusing on Gaudí, make these your top priorities: Sagrada Família, Casa Batlló, and Casa Mila. I'll also leave in the description a great video that helped me to grasp Gaudí's philosophy behind his designs and appreciate more. Sightseeing. La Rambla is one of the most famous streets, but it's very touristic. It wasn't my favorite place, but it's still worth walking through at least once. One thing you should look out for is Casa Bruno Quadros, also known as the building with the umbrellas. On La Rambla, you'll find Mercat de la Boqueria. It's a great place to see local food with stalls selling ham, cheese, fruits, and ready meals. You can eat there or take something to go. The Gothic Quarter is one of the most interesting areas to explore on food. You'll find the Barcelona Cathedral, and often there is a flea market in front of it. The streets are very narrow and feel truly medieval. There are small boutiques, old restaurants, and a lot of hidden spots like this kiss mural near the cathedral. You can also pass through Pont del Bisbe, the famous bridge with the skull and dagger detail. We also spent time at Plaza Real, where you can see Gaudí's street lamps. When we were there, we even came across a piano recital, which made the whole atmosphere feel very special. The concert hall Palau de la Música Catalana is one of the most striking Catalan modernist buildings you can see. Instead of buying a regular entry ticket, I would recommend getting the concert ticket. The price difference is small, but the experience is much more memorable. We also walked around Elborn. It has a nice mix of culture and daily life with museums, small shops, and many places to stop for a drink or a meal. If you have time, Montjuic is another area worth visiting. It's great for both museums and views over the city. You'll find places like the National Art Museum and the Juan Miró Foundation there. There are also many other museums in the city, especially in Elborn area, like the Picasso Museum or Contemporary Art Spaces. We personally skipped some of them this time, since we wanted to focus more on Gaudí and outdoor experiences. We also went to the marina. It was crowded even in March. I can imagine it being very lively and busy in summer. Overall, I would recommend not planning every minute. Some of the best moments come from simply walking, getting a little lost, sitting down for a glass of beer or sangria, and discovering places along the way. How about food? Food is a big part of the Barcelona experience, and honestly, this was one of my favorite parts of the trip. For breakfast, we found an amazing gluten-free bakery called Jansana. The sandwiches, the croissants, and the cheesecake. Oh my god, everything was so good. We actually went there 2 consecutive mornings. There was always a line outside, which says a lot. Another breakfast spot we liked was Miss Simona, near Sagrada Família. After days of bread, tapas, and carbs, we really wanted something healthier like eggs, and this was a great option. It's also easy to combine with your Sagrada Família visit. For tapas, one of the most enjoyable experiences is sitting at the bar. You can watch the chefs preparing the food, and the atmosphere feels very lively. We tried several places, and my favorite was Vinitus. My second favorite was El Nacional. It's a very stylish space with multiple restaurants inside. For paella, we tried 3 different places. Our favorite was Seven Portes. The seafood paella there was excellent. The second was Boca Grande. It's a fancy restaurant and paella was very good. And our least favorite was Los Caracoles, which felt a bit dry. However, we like the traditional ambience of the restaurant. Dinner in Barcelona starts later than most people are used to. Restaurants usually open around 7 p.m. and that's when it's quieter and mostly filled with tourists. Locals tend to arrive around 8 or 8:30. We usually ate between 7 and 8 p.m., which made it easier for us to find a table, but I would still recommend making a reservation when you can. For dessert, you have to try crema catalana. I had it in Boca Grande and loved it so much that finished it immediately and completely forgot to take a photo. I also really wanted to try John Cake's cheesecake. It is famous for its creamy texture and cost €13 per slice, but the line was very long. We didn't want to wait this time, but it's definitely on my list for the next visit. For a more local food market experience, you can visit Mercat de la Boqueria or Mercat de Santa Caterina. Both are great for trying different foods from various stalls or grabbing something quick. Shopping! I'm a fashion stylist, so when I travel, I always explore the local fashion scene, discover boutiques, and look for interesting designs. And Barcelona is a great city for shopping. The main shopping area is Eixample, around Passeig de Gràcia. It's a very lively area and easy to combine with sightseeing. You'll find everything there, from luxury brands to more accessible brands like Zehra, Mango, and H&M. And Spain's well-known department store El Corte Inglés is located in Plaza de Catalunya. It's a very large store with fashion, cosmetics, home items, technology, and gourmet food. There's also a restaurant on the top floor with a beautiful panoramic city view called La Rotonda. There are also several Spanish brands worth checking out. Some of the more well-known ones are Bimba y Lola, Desigual, Adolfo Dominguez, and Camper. But I was more interested in discovering smaller and more unique brands rather than global ones you can find anywhere. S.O.S. is great for easy-to-wear everyday basics. It's perfect if you like timeless, elegant, and comfortable style. Another brand that caught my attention was Dr. Bloom. Very colorful, very playful, and full of personality. Even their store window is worth looking. Their motto is, "Wear what makes you happy," which I really liked. In Eixample, we came across a beautiful interior and design store called Deu y Deu. It felt like a dream store, very colorful and creative. I loved everything inside, from lamps to candles to furniture. For jewelry, Uno de 50 is a Spanish brand with bold and distinctive designs. All pieces are handmade in Spain. They have a store under the Casamila. La Rambla and the Gothic area are more focused on souvenirs and small local shops. If you're looking for more unique souvenirs rather than standard souvenir items like fridge magnets, there is a store called Design Place in the Gothic Quarter that's worth checking out. One day, when it was raining, we went to Lilia Diagonal shopping mall. It was a good option to spend time indoors. It has a nice food court and we especially like the wine and cheese store. You can also find many Spanish brands there in one place. If you're visiting from outside the EU, you can benefit from tax-free shopping. There's no minimum amount required. Even small purchases are eligible and the process is quite simple. You can get your documents stamped in store or scan them at the airport before your refund. The prices and the budget. Barcelona is similar to other major European cities when it comes to prices, but your total cost really depends on what you choose to do. For food, prices can vary. A nice dinner for two can be around 60 to 80 euros at a decent restaurant. For example, seafood paella at Seven Portes was around 30 euros per person. At more upscale places like Boca Grande, dinner can go up to around 150 euros for two. Tapas are more flexible. Small dishes usually range between 8 to 12 euros and you can expect to spend around 50 to 60 euros for a full tapas dinner. Food feels reasonable, but where it really adds up is attractions and museum tickets. Many places start around 15 euros and can go up to 40 or 50 euros per person, especially for Gaudí attractions. If you plan to visit several places, this can quickly increase your total budget. Things to know before you go. Before you go to Barcelona, there are a few things I would keep in mind. First, Be careful with tickets. Some websites look official but charge more. I almost paid extra for Park Güell tickets before realizing it wasn't the official site. The price difference was 10 euro, so always double check where you're buying from. Second, avoid eating in very touristy areas like La Rambla. It's better to walk a bit further and choose places where locals eat. Also, don't leave everything unplanned, especially for Gaudí attractions. In high season, tickets can sell out quickly. Barcelona is also known for pickpocketing, especially in crowded areas like La Rambla or public transport. I carried my bag zipped and kept my hand on it in busy areas. I also used a crossbody bag and kept my valuables close. I even had a chain on my phone so I could secure it to my wrist while taking photos. It may sound a bit much, but it made me feel more comfortable. You don't need to be worried, just aware. Simple precautions make a big difference. And finally, try not to overplan your trip. Some of the best moments come from walking, exploring, and discovering places naturally. So it's a good idea to plan what you really want to see and prioritize. That way, you can manage your budget more easily and still enjoy the experience. The best time to visit Barcelona really depends on what kind of experience you are looking for. In winter, the weather is cooler, but the city is much less crowded, which makes it easier to explore. Summer is also beautiful, especially if you want to enjoy the beach, but it can get very hot and quite crowded, especially in the main tourist areas. Spring and early summer, especially May and June, are probably the best times. The weather is very pleasant and the city feels lively without being too overwhelming. The best balance between weather and overall experience. Quick itinerary. If you only have a few days in Barcelona, I would recommend keeping your itinerary simple and focused. For us, we focus mainly on Gaudí and walking through the city rather than trying to see everything. On the first day, we explored Eixample and Passeig de Gràcia and visited Casa Batlló and then walked all the way down to La Rambla. From there, we continued into the Gothic Quarter, explored the streets and had dinner in that area. On the second day, we visited Casa Batlló, spent some time shopping around Eixample and later walked towards Elborn. In the evening, we went for a stylish dinner. On the third day, we started with breakfast near Sagrada Família, visited the area and then went to Park Güell. After that, we came back towards to the city center, did some souvenir shopping and ended the day with a paella by the Marina. If we had more time, we would definitely spend a full day in Montjuic for museums and views. We preferred outdoor experiences this time and saved museums for another visit. So my main advice would be choose a focus, plan around areas, and don't try to do everything in one trip. My personal favorite. To wrap it up, here are some of my personal favorites from Barcelona. For paella, my favorite was Seven Portes. For tapas, definitely Vinitus. And for a more stylish atmosphere, I really liked Boca Grande. For street food, Mercat de la Boqueria is a great place to try different stalls and quick bites. For breakfast, Miss Simona was a great option. And Jansana was my favorite bakery. For dessert, I still have John Cake's cheesecake on my list for my next trip. If I had to choose 3 places I'll always remember from this trip, I would say Casa Batlló, Casa Mila's rooftop, and Palau de la Música. So, would I come back to Barcelona? Definitely yes. There's still a lot I didn't get to see. This time I mostly focused on Gaudí and skipped many museums. I would also love to come back in early summer and spend more time at the beach and the beachside bars. So, who should visit Barcelona? I would say anyone who loves design and architecture. If you enjoy beautiful buildings, details, shop windows, and aesthetics in general, you'll love this city. And of course, if you love food, it's really a paradise for seafood, wine, and carp lovers like me. I hope this video helps you plan your trip. And if it did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you would want to see in Barcelona. Have a great trip!